Okay, guys, I'm back. Continuation of our basic beginners modify your airplane series here. I'm going to show you a little bit about the comp file. I hope, anyways, if this works out. I think I've got everything set up. I've got Flight Simulator open. I've got my all aluminum simulated aluminum, because you can't have a textured hunk of aluminum from a vinyl covering. Anyway, this is one of my early liveries that I created for the Husky, and I want to add a registration number to the tail. So we're already up in flight. There's no registration on it now, and I'm going to go back to pause, and we're going to drop this down, and let's see, I should have opened up in here. Okay, this is the texture file for that aircraft, and if you can tell on this plate where anything is, you're doing pretty good. I might be able to make out a horizontal stabilizer and maybe the elevators here, but anything else, it'd be kind of hard to. Maybe the rudder and the fuselage. But when developers in 3D programs develop 3D objects, they're cut up into sections called UVs and put onto a plate. And I'm not going to go into the UVs that much. There's a cool video out there by Easy Rider where he shows how to use UVs in PaintNet. It's available on YouTube. I don't have a link readily available to it, but it's Easy Rider MSFS Flight Simulator painting, texture painting. And he's not painting the outside of the aircraft, he's doing the inside, he's doing the interior, and he shows how to use UVs. Anyways, what I've done is taken a UV plate, and I've converted it to all white. And this is kind of what a UV would look like, only with these crazy lines all over the place, which is they're just black lines, a little shadowing behind it, and you can use those UVs to select various parts and things. Where this particular one might be an issue if you wanted to select things, let's go to selection tool. If I select, no, it's not going to let me. Let's go down here. Let's take my tolerance down to say 5. And if I select on the fuselage, I get a couple of artifacts in here, like this little line that's connected. And I could get rid of that, but this would allow me to select part of the fuselage and then go into the DDS file and put it in place and figure out where things are at. So how I would do that, I'm just going to take a second here and grab my line selection tool, and I'm going to zoom in and hit my Alt key, which is going to give me a removal. And I'm just going to attempt to remove that little strip right there. I don't want it. Alright, and the other stuff will work. It's not a big deal. But I'm going to go edit, and I'm going to copy. And it should copy just that section. Another thing I want to look at, and this is important no matter what you're doing, texture plates are set up into an even numbered, like 4x4 or 2x2. In our case, it would be 248, 496, or 81. I think it's 8160 or something like that. I'll have to figure that out. But that's 8K. The 4096 is 4K, and the 2048, that would be 2K. These smaller aircraft, 2K is probably fine unless you're getting into some really fine looking decals and you want those to really show up really nice, then you might want to go up to 4K. There are some folks that'll take it all the way up to 8K. I don't think it's necessary on the smaller airplanes. If you're getting up and working on the airliners, the tubers, or big military aircraft or something, then you want to jump into 8K. But I can take and go up here to image and go to image size, and this particular one is in 4096. That's 4K. Resolution of 72. I'm going to cancel. I've already copied this. I'm going to go to my DDS, and I'm going to, and I've already done some stuff here, preliminaries to get ready to try to keep this video short. I'll go edit, paste in place. See, I'm pasting special. Now, I got an issue here. I got to figure out what's going on. And if you see how big that is, I didn't look at my plate for my particular texture on my aluminum. So if I go up here to image, I'll go image size. You see I'm at 2048. That's a problem. I'm trying to take a 4096 and going down to a 2048. Ain't going to work. So I'm going to cancel out of this. Control Z undoes what I just tried to do. I will go back over to here. I'm going to go to image, image size, and I will take this down to 20 by 48. Alright, and I've got it linked so that it does it automatically. There's other ways to do it. You could put in an asterisk with a 2 and it'll double it. I think there's, I can't remember how you go backwards on it. But anyways, these are things that you learn when you learn in the particular software that you're working with. I'm going to select OK. Now it drops it down. Now I'm at the same image level as what the plate is I'm trying to go to, and that's important. Unfortunately, I got to go back and do my selection all over again. So I'm going to select, and I've got to get rid of this piece right here. So I'm going to hit the Alt key, which is going to give me a negative, and go down here, and I'm just going to get rid of that. I wouldn't really have to worry about it for what we're doing, but I just want to make sure that you understand what's going on. Again, edit, copy, then I'm going to go back to my original, and I'm going to go edit, paste special, paste in place. Boom, now it's the right size, and it's in the right place. So now you see where the fuselage is, and this happens to be the right side of the fuselage. I'm not going to put this in place. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use it to find out where my fuselage is at. So what I can do at this point in time is with my selection tool, the magic wand in this case, I don't know what it might be in another program, I'm just going to click somewhere off of the fuselage. Or you could click on the fuselage since that's the only thing on that plate. I'm going to turn that off. Now I've got some marching ants that shows me where my fuselage is. And I can go down onto my fuselage layer, and that would allow me to work on this, and I would work in just this area. But now I know where things are at. Another way of doing things, and it might be complicated for you, again, if you're just starting out, this would be a good thing to learn. But there's a program called Blender. It's free. It's a 3D program. You don't need to go to all these sites and learn how to model and all that stuff. All you need to do is learn, find somebody that you can listen to, and that's important. Some of these guys are really dry, just like I'm probably really dry to somebody. But find somebody that you can listen to and get the very basic where they explain how to manipulate the windows, the environment, and how to move around. Those are the important things. Then you can pick up the other stuff later. You don't have to know how to model. You don't have to learn all those things. It's good to know. It can help you in the long run. And you know, there's lots of guys out there to do some great stuff. There's a guy that builds donuts and puts sprinkles on them and stuff like that. All that helps you understand the 3D modeling and 3D space, but you don't need that. So don't let that scare you. Anyways, I have a picture I'm going to show you. Come on. Maybe I'm going to show it to you. You know what? I can't show it to you because I'm filming right now. Is ongoing. Okay. I'll show it to you later. What I did was I went into Blender and I took this model and I painted out a little plate. That plate is, let's see, right here. This is the plate that I painted in Blender, and I put these little pink spots down here on the 3D model so that I knew where to put my registration numbers. You could have done that with what I just showed you on the UV map. If you've got a set of UV maps that come with the plane that you're working on, or you can locate them somewhere on the internet. Easy Rider has all kinds of UV plates and paint kits. Take a look at that on FlightSim.2 on different aircraft. It may not be all of the aircraft, but there's quite a few of them out there that he's done them for, and it's just a great service. Anyways, I've already selected these items and I've used them over in my Blender file. I'm going to turn off the marching ants. I don't need that anymore. I'm going to, let's see, select, deselect. I'm on my main texture file, DDS file, out of the Husky. I'm working on the A1 Husky, and this is the plate that I made up earlier. It shows me where my registration numbers go. I've already got two text files here, number 1 and number 2. Every program is different. In Photoshop has one set of tools, text tools for typing in text and manipulating, just as PaintNet has a set, and so does GIMP. They have different ways that they function. So I'm trying to shorten this up. I've already got these numbers set up. You can go in and learn how to do that on the individual program of your choice. I'm going to turn off the pink. I don't need that. All I need is these text numbers right here. And that's the only thing I have visible. I have all these layers in here. I could save this out as a PNG. No, I'll save this out in whatever program you're working on. Say it's a GIMP. You'd save it out in a GIMP file, and it will maintain all these layers. You're not putting it into Flight Simulator folder. You're just saving it out somewhere on a folder or desktop that maintains all your layers. So if you wanted to come back in later and just go into the text layer and change to a different bureau number, that's a good idea. Good idea once you do all that work is to save it out. So I've got all this stuff in here. I'm going to go File on my DDS. Make sure I'm clicked on that. Everything else is turned off except for the texture files. I might take this guy and move it up here out of the way so that just these three are together. I'm going to go File, Save As. I want DDS. Okay. I'm in my aluminum. I'm going to go Yes. And this is just color. So I'm going to select the color, BC1. Okay. Now, I should be able to go into Flight Simulator. I'm going to go Resume. And I'm going to go Fly. I'm already up, 300-400 feet in the air. I want to make sure that I maintain that. So let's give it some throttle and get up here flying. I'm going to go outside the aircraft. You notice there's nothing on the aircraft. I need to trim it out so I'm not fighting with it here. Okay, I'm going to move in close. There's nothing on the tail. Okay? So, like I showed you before, I'm going to go to Windows, Aircraft Selector. I'm going to scroll down here until I get into the right area. See where it's highlighted? I know I'm on that. Another thing to tell you, if you are in this window open and you click on something and you're messing in this window, you will not have control of the aircraft. So make sure you're up high before you do that. I'm going to go up to completely different aircraft. I'm going to go to the Savage Gravel, and let's just click on this Breitling. I'm going to change out to another aircraft. Okay. I'm inside of it. I'm looking around. I know that I know I've switched over. I'll give it a minute or so, or 60 seconds or something. Whatever you want to, whatever you think best. Hopefully, it'll make the change. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you got to go all the way down the list, find another aircraft to switch out to, and then switch back. Or sometimes you got to go back into your main menu and start it all over again, or reset it. Anyway, I need to get leveled out here. I'm going to go back outside, and I'm going to go back to my Husky aluminum Tundra. That's the one I'm messing with. Okay, I'm going to close this window, and let's go around to the side. And yes, it did work. Okay, so you can see there is my my registration number on the tail. Trying to keep her level in flight here. Every time you change out aircraft, you got to reset your trim and stuff. Okay, she's bouncing around because I got a wacky engine mod on this thing that at half throttle is actually full throttle. It's one of them Yamaha snowmobile engines in there. Anyway, as you can see, there's the registration number. May not be in the most optimum place. I could go ahead and move that, change it to somewhere else. I'm going to fly out. I've got it on both sides of the aircraft. There it is again. But you notice in the texture file it looked white. On the airplane it looks kind of silvery. And the reason for that is the comp file. The comp file is over the entire aircraft, and anything underneath of it is not going to look like the true color. So now if you want that to look white, you're going to have to go in and change that comp file. The silver don't look too bad if you wanted to leave it silver, but I want it to be white and use it for our instruction purposes. So I don't have to do this when I come back in. I'm going to go ahead and switch out aircraft now. I'll go back down to that Got Gravel Breitling, switch it out, and I've made the switch. Give it a second or two for the instrumentation to take hold, and then I'm going to pause. Alright, we'll go back into Photoshop. Since I know that I'm going to be working on another file and I need those registration numbers, I'm going to go to, and I'll have to do it both at the same time here, and I'll tell you why. These are text files, and they will not, they're hard to manipulate when they're in text format. What I do, if I know that they're set, I will take and I will add a layer. Let's see, I'm going to go down to here, click on this, and I'm going to go layer, new. I'm just going to hit layer and not name it. I'm going to slide it below the texture file, and then I'll click on that text file, and I'll go Control E, and that will move it down. Now it is no longer text. I cannot edit it. It is just a paint job. And if I click off of here, you see where that plate is highlighted, and I can go here to select inverse. When you do that, notice that you don't get the center. So before you go to inverse, select, I'm going to inverse, and I will click inside of that with the shift key or whatever on your particular program, and then I can go select inverse. Now at that point I can go edit, copy. Now I will go back into the aluminum texture folder, and I will go down here to the fuselage comp, and I'm going to open up the comp file. Comp file is open. See how pink it is? That's making everything aluminum. Alright? What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go File. Let's see. Let's go Edit. Paste Special. Paste in place. There's my registration number. I'm going to click off somewheres. I'm going to go down here and make sure I got the center of that. Shift click, and then I'm going to select let's see, select inverse, and I have just that selected. I can turn that off now. All I used that for was the selection purposes. Now I know that red is what I need to reduce that. The closest thing I have around here to the red would be right here. The ideal thing is to have that selected already in your selection tool, and then switch it so it's not the primary, because when you go select stuff like that, it will change the color. I'm going to try this. Hopefully it will work. I'm going to sample this red. Let's slide it over here to the edge and make it a little bit darker. The proper way to do that is to go into your channels and go to RGB and adjust that way. But I only want it to affect where I'm messing with right now, and I'm going to go back to my layers. Let's see. Let me do that. I'm on the main plate. I'm on the red, and I'm going to go Edit and Fill. Come on. It's not going to let me. Why are you not going to let me fill? Oh, I got to be selected. Edit, Fill. Okay. Now, you see I've changed that color. I'm on the comp plate. I'm going to select, deselect. Alright. Sometimes having this layer in here can mess you up on a comp file. I will delete it. Get it out of there. Less chance of something messing up. I don't want it. It's out of there. Okay. Now I'm going to go Edit. I'm sorry. File. Save as. Now this is where you need to change the DDS format. Let's see. I'm doing that. I'm going to go Save. Yes. Here's my little window. I'm going to select Color Alpha. You see I've changed now to BC3, 8 BPP linear. Color plus an alpha. I need that transparent channel, or this particular DDS file needs that transparent file to work. I'm going to select OK. If I'm lucky, everything worked out right. I'm going to go back in, resume, find my airplane here. I will go back up and find my Husky aluminum Tundra, double click on it, close that. Okay, let's get us level. I'm going to turn that throttle back a bit, kick in the trim tab so we're not. Okay, I did this side. Okay, yes, she worked. Alright. Now this might not be perfect, but you notice how white that is? Now if I come around to this other side, see how silver it is? And how shiny when it gets up in the shine it disappears? Okay, if I go back over to here, that white is nice and white. It disappears a little bit. So I could probably work on, I could put a yellow in there and it would be completely flat. Alright? I'm just trying to show you the power of the comp file and what that comp file does. That is white or close to white. That is silver. Okay? hopefully that helps. All right, that's enough for now. We'll go on to another deal and talk at you later.